shopgear.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network. Coming to you live from the Gear Network studios in Rochester, New York. This is the JC Money Show with your host, John Cimino, aka JC Money. And now, here's John.
Yeah, boy! Oh, yeah, boy. The JC Money Show is back, ladies and gentlemen, on the air. How's it going? How's it going to all of you? Good to have you here. My name is John Cimino, at the JC Money on the Twitter, also known as JC Money in the professional wrestling world. And we are on the air on Spreaker, iTunes, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever fine podcasts can be heard. YouTube, we're on there too. And if you don't hear us somewhere, by us I mean any of the podcasts on Gear Network, Better Live Than Dead, Trust Podcast, the FTW Podcast, The Wrestling Show, Turnbuckle Talk Radio, all of us. If you don't hear us on a specific podcasting platform, reach out to me and let me know. I will make sure it gets on there because I can be very persuasive with words. But today, we are presented with no commercial interruption thanks to your recent Amazon shopping using our networks at gearnetwork.com/Amazon or shopgear.com. And of course, anytime you shop Amazon, just take that little extra step and use our link to do it. That way, it helps sustain this podcast because when you use our link, you're telling Amazon that Gear Network referred you, and that helps us a long way. They do give us a commission on some of your purchases, and that, like I said, definitely goes a long way towards helping out the good cause here. So, on today's show, got a good one for you. We're going to talk some ESW a little later on. Yes, JC Money Show people, we're going back to the wrestling format a little bit. It's a variety show, folks. So, I reserve the right, because this is my show, to talk about whatever I want. Whether it's pro wrestling, whether it's news, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever. But today is more wrestling-centric, so for those of you that really liked and enjoyed the old Talking Wrestling series that I had, well, this is your cup of tea then, I think. So, Eric Emanon joins me today on the program, which is awesome because Eric has been a mainstay ever since the beginning of the Gear Radio Network. In fact, he was my first guest on the original Talking Wrestling series, which you can actually go all the way back on this particular feed, whether you're wherever you're listening to, all the way down. And I think it might have been like episode 3 or 4 or something when I had my first guest, and he was my first guest. So he's been here, he's been there, and it's funny to think about it because at that time he was really starting to kind of come off into his own. And now what he's doing is just absolutely incredible, and I'm a fan. And of course with ESW, Empire State Wrestling, debuting in Rochester in later this month, actually. We're in February now. Eric is booked on that show. He's going to be making an appearance. He's going to be wrestling Gavin Glass and somebody else. I can't remember. I swear to God, I can't remember this guy's name, and it pisses me off. Not very journalistic of me to do that, but in any event, LSG, that's right. So Gavin Glass and LSG against Eric Emanon, triple threat match. That's at ESW Rochester. We're going to talk to Eric a little bit. But first, the editorial piece here that I want to talk about really quickly is the 2019 Royal Rumble, because I've spent the past week on Twitter, on social media, whatever, and I don't get it with wrestling fans, mainstream wrestling fans, that is. What in the blue hell makes you guys happy? Like, seriously, I would really like to know what makes you happy, because WWE legitimately went about a different way, did some different things this Royal Rumble. And for me, I thought it was a fantastic event. I really did. I do think that perhaps the Women's Royal Rumble should have gone at the end, because clearly the Becky Lynch thing, that was the crowd moment of the night. And I'll talk about that in a quick minute, because Becky lost to Asuka. They kicked off the show. They needed to really transition Becky from SmackDown to Raw. So it did not make sense to me, as someone viewing it, that Becky was going to win the championship. Now, of course, I could have been proven wrong and whatever, but it wouldn't have made sense to get to the Becky Lynch-Ronda Rousey match that the world wants to see. But clearly Becky Lynch is the most popular person right now, the biggest pop, the biggest, I dare say, draw in the WWE right now. And So the Asuka match, obviously good match, hard-hitting match, but they needed to transition Becky from SmackDown to Raw. How would they do that? Well, she's not going to beat Asuka for the championship, but let's get her in that Women's Royal Rumble again. And that's what they did. They worked her in there with a Lana injury, and now Becky walks in there and on a broken messed up wheel, eliminates Charlotte Flair, wins the Royal Rumble, comes out the next night, challenges Ronnie, as she calls her, Ronda Rousey, which, again, that's the match everybody wants to see, and by all rights should headline WrestleMania. And when I say headline WrestleMania, I mean that should be the main event. Ronda Rousey against Becky Lynch. But then you go opposite, that's the Men's Royal Rumble. Number 30 was supposed to be R-Truth. And what happens was Nia Jax attacked R-Truth, and she took the number 30 spot. And not only did she take the number 30 spot, but she dominated when she got in there against all the men, eliminated Mustafa Ali, and then started taking a bunch of the finishers from the males. So she had Rey Mysterio up for what looked like to be a power slam. Dolph Ziggler hits a super kick. Rey Mysterio gets down, drop kicks her in the back, does the 619. Then Randy Orton comes with an RKO out of nowhere, and then they dump her out, and people were outraged about that. Like, not all people, but a good chunk of people were like, oh, I thought we were supposed to be men versus women in WWE and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, come on, really? First of all, you gotta remember, it's entertainment, okay? Secondly, if you're like me and you look at the overall big picture on things, what the guys did in that ring for Nia Jax, I mean, they put her over way more than they got in. It was the initial shock of her being in there, and she was steamrolling through all the guys, and I mean, eliminated, physically picked up and threw out Mustafa Ali, and has had people talking about that part in the Royal Rumble since the Royal Rumble event itself. Now, do I think it was a good move? I thought it was a great move. I thought it really added another element to the Nia Jax character, which I already liked anyways. But the fact that people were pissed off because, prior to this, there was no intergender wrestling at all. No intergender wrestling. Men couldn't touch women anymore, whatever, because of whatever. They kind of toyed around with that with the whole James Ellsworth storyline with Carmella and all that stuff. And when he was doing the intergender thing there and lost, I believe, to Becky Lynch, if I'm not mistaken, before he was let go from WWE. To me, that was like the trial there. And then they bring out Nia Jax at number 30, and it got the reaction that they wanted. Keep in mind that by the point that Nia Jax had already was coming out for the Men's Royal Rumble, we were already almost 4.5 hours deep into the pay-per-view. People were getting burned out. I know I was getting burned out a little bit. It went long. But it brought me back, and it got my attention, and it got the, oh crap, what's going on here, reaction, and it did its purpose. So WWE is very smart, and they know what they're doing. So to all of you armchair, I say armchair quarterbacks, use the armchair terminology, but for all of you armchair personalities that armchair bookers, if you will, that want to book these shows and think that you could do a better job, well, you know what? You go and try and do a better job, and let's see if you can keep 48,000 people engaged for 5 hours. And if you on the independent level, you can barely keep 48 people engaged for 2 hours, let alone 48,000 in 5 hours. So if you could do that, then clearly you should be doing that, and you'd be making a lot of money. But, as far as your critique is concerned, I get it. You're a paying fan. That's fine. But part of being a paying fan is actually allowing yourself to enjoy the product. And a lot of you fans are fans for some reason, and all I see is an extreme amount of bitching about the product and not enough enjoyment. So really, y'all need to work on that. But that's really the editorial piece for that. I thought the Royal Rumble was great. I think Rollins versus Lesnar is going to be tremendous. Finn Balor versus Lesnar this past at the Royal Rumble was a tremendous match. I really enjoyed that match, and I, much like I preach, I allowed myself to enjoy as a fan and believe that Finn Balor had a chance and was going to win. And when it didn't happen, but it happened, but the ending happened the way it did. I mean, Lesnar, for what it's worth, made Balor look strong, look like a legitimate challenger. And Lesnar likes, and it has been written, likes working the Finn Balors and the AJ Styles and the Daniel Bryans of the world because they bring out the best in him. He's had great matches with all three of those names. And, I mean, great matches, not just the usual suplex, this, whatever. It's just, it works. The way Lesnar's character is, and then with those characters, and him, giving up enough to make them look legitimate, and their work ethic picking up with Lesnar's, it just was a very, very good match. I highly recommend you watching it if you have not seen that match. But overall, the Royal Rumble, fuck you, Dave Meltzer. I'm giving, I don't do the 5 stars or whatever. I'd say 8.5 out of 10. The reason why it wasn't a 10 out of 10 is it was too damn long. But speaking of WWE and speaking of supporting us, again, shopgear.com, ladies and gentlemen. I just said we're not going to do any commercials, but this is an infomercial, and it is, involved in all of my podcasts. But shopgear.com, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of WWE 2K19, ladies and gentlemen, on sale. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, $28 even for PlayStation 4, $28.15 for Xbox One. As of right now on Amazon Prime, it can be delivered. If you want to do the digital codes, they're not going to hook you up. It's still $59.99 for the PS4 digital codes and Xbox One digital codes. But the physical discs with the case and the picture of AJ Styles on the front, $28 for PlayStation 4 with free delivery by Sunday. That's right. Order now. You can get it through Prime in 2 days or less. And they're telling me, as I'm reading it right now, Sunday, February 3rd, order today. You can get WWE 2K19. And, of course, do that through shopgear.com, please. Type shopgear.com. It's going to take you right to Amazon, and it will take you right to your account. And then you go to the search bar, and you type WWE 2K19. And when you do that, it will bring you to there, and you make your purchase, and it helps us in the which is awesome, and we enjoy the help very much. So Eric Emanon coming right after this in 10 seconds. All right, everybody, we are back here on the JC Money Show. How's it going? John Cimino, aka JC Money, here. And also here, ladies and gentlemen, like I had mentioned earlier on, the incomparable Punk Rock Supernova. Punk Rock. He's got so many goddamn names that I'm sorry, Eric. I don't know how to formally introduce you as far as that, other than my nephew, Eric Emanon, is here. And he's going to talk with us right now. Eric, say what's up, my man.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
I just built you up, and that's all you get? Hey,
yeah,
guys,
I'm sorry. I was smiling. It's one of those things where you're going over all the names and stuff like that. I mean, it's the Punk Rock Supernova, Eric.
Is it still the Supernova now? Okay.
Yes, Punk Rock Supernova, Burn Bright, Die Young, however you want to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, the founder of the IndyCar Mafia.
There you go. The president.
The president of the IndyCar Mafia, the Northwest Ohio heavyweight champion. Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh, Jesus, I wish I still had the exuberance for wrestling that you do. But in any event, very proud of you and very happy with how things are turning out. Now, for those of you wrestling fans, obviously you know who Eric Emanon is. He's been on my podcast a plethora of times. He's a returning guest. He's always welcome. So we're going to get to the wrestling portion in a bit. But for those of you that follow me, whether it's from wrestling or as JC Money or as John, the radio guy, podcaster now, I talk a great deal of sports. And Eric is a New England Patriots fan.
Yes,
so with that, Sunday's big game, we are going to talk a little sports here. So if you don't want to hear about Eric's take on the sports, just fast forward a little bit, then we'll get to the ESW stuff. But the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday in Atlanta on the Columbia Broadcasting System, CBS. New England is believe it or not, the Rams are 2.5-point favorites, which surprises me with that, but I guess they have a pretty stellar defense. Eric, when we were talking as we were making plans for this podcast, one of the things you said you wanted to talk about was the incredible amount of Patriots hate that you are hearing, that you are seeing on social media. Now, I will preface this by saying I am a New York Jets fan, whom also co-hosts with your brother a Buffalo Bills Talk podcast, okay? I'm very well versed in the AFC East, and I'm man enough to admit that I could take my Homer hat off and appreciate what, the game for what it is and what we're seeing here with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick going to their 9th Super Bowl together. And at 5-3, this tandem could be, they're already in elite company as is. They're also the only coach quarterback combination that has gone to this many Super Bowls. And regardless of whether or not they win or whether or not they, or whether or not they lose, their names are etched in forever as the greatest of all time. My opinion, Tom Brady, win, lose, or draw, is still the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
There's absolutely no doubting that. So whether his Super Bowl record goes to 5-4 or goes to 6-3, Tom Brady is still the greatest of all time. Now, that said, Eric, you specifically asked for this to address the haters of the Patriots. Eric, tell us about your feelings from the conference championship through Radio Week, Radio Row, Super Bowl week into the big game. What is going through your mind? What are you looking forward to? What are you feeling?
Well, first off, let me address the world as representing Pat's Nation here. I want to point out first and foremost that it is written in the stars. Rob Gronkowski can physically not let Tom Brady lose this game, because that would mean that Tom Brady has won 6 of 9 Super Bowls. So it's written in the stars. It is written in the stars.
There you go. But I read a scary story, somewhat, I don't want to say scary, but a concerning story about Gronkowski. We'll touch upon after this.
Yeah. I got to say that this Super Bowl is the most passionate I have seen the New England Patriots, especially their sideline. You have guys walking up to Tom Brady, guys like Julian Edelman, obviously the number 1 wide receiver for Tom Brady. It's one of his favorite targets, and he's walking up to Tom Brady, yelling at him, "You're too old." And that kind of motivation, Tom Brady just keeps getting from everybody around him. "You're too old. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be doing this. There's no way you deserve to be here." It's just echoing the sentiments of everybody that's a Buffalo Bills fan in our area, telling Tom Brady he's too old. But it's watching them push through and break all the molds of what people are saying. "You're too old," telling Chris Hogan he can't catch. He's just another Wes Welker wannabe in the Tom Brady system. Guys like Julian Edelman, who were supposed to be quarterbacks. He's a failed quarterback, arguably. He came into the NFL as a wide receiver because the quarterbacks were going to overtake him. There was no way he was going to be drafted as a quarterback. He was taken and molded in the NFL as a wide receiver. So you just look at this team of arguable underdogs and misfits, which is weird to say for the New England Patriots. They have the shot to go and take on this Los Angeles Rams team that arguably did what all sports teams are doing nowadays. They loaded up. They've got a bunch of guys who are in contract for 1-2 years who are being paid absurd amounts of money because they're being paid to win a Super Bowl. That's their whole job. They're there to win a Super Bowl. And they have an amazing offense. They have an amazing defense. They have a team that's arguably one of the best teams in the NFL. But the Saints proved they could be stopped. And the Saints proved that they are a human team. And had it not been for the referees in that game, I think we would have seen a different Super Bowl. Which I was pulling for Patriots.
I'm going to actually cut you off there and sort of disagree with you on that, because there was in the drive before it, there was a blatant face mask that was not called. Yes. So it's hard to say, but then, going to the point of the blown call, very much a blown call, but do I think that was the be all end all for that game? I mean, arguably Sean Payton and the Saints, they made some mistakes in that game as well. It could have or could have not mattered. Grand scheme of things, had their plan gone to and been executed appropriately, I would agree. Yeah. I would think.
And I always say this: if there's ever a time where your team's complaining about one singular call in a game that could have swayed the game one way or another, you have to ask yourself as a fan, why was the game so close? If it was down to that one decisive call that changed the entire game, there was an entire game before that could have changed the outcome, where even if that call had happened, you still win or you still lose. So the fact that, and it's happened before with New England, where as a fan, I'm like, man, we got really hosed on that call, or where it's a no catch, or it's a pass interference that's not called, or it's a hold that's called. It can never be that, oh man, that one call changed the entire game. Yeah, did it push momentum? Did it kill momentum of the Saints? Probably, but at that same point in time, why is it just one call? Your team should have been playing better against a superior team, I would argue, in the Rams. If they had put up more points earlier on, that call wouldn't have mattered. If they were able to hold, it wouldn't have mattered.
Absolutely. And the Rams, give them credit. They're a team that have been consistently excellent all season. So It's not like they're riding a wave or whatever. And perhaps this is why they're a 2.5 point favorite, because the Patriots this season, they didn't look as dominant as they did. I say this because everybody was so enamored with Patrick Mahomes, future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes, future 2-time Super Bowl winner Patrick Mahomes. Clearly I like the guy. I like Patrick Mahomes too. I think he's the future of the NFL. I mean, he's an all-around quarterback. The guy's throwing no-look passes. Like, he's a mobile quarterback. He can drop the ball on a dime, and he can go deep with it. He can run with it. He can do it all. Besides all of that, I think what I really like about him is his demeanor. He reminds me a lot of Derek Jeter. And Derek Jeter, in my Yankees fandom, I have 2 Yankees that are number 1. Well, 1 and 1A. Number 1 is Don Mattingly, my all-time favorite Yankee. And then 1A is Derek Jeter. And Mahomes, he reminds me of Derek Jeter. And I think that's why I like him so much. So, address the Patriots hate real quick, so that way we can move on to the ESW stuff.
So, all in all, I mean, you got to look at the NFL like this. Some of these teams are playing their best games at home this year. When you look at the Rams, they're 7-1 at home. But New England, they were undefeated at home this year. They were 8-0 at home. They were coming off of a 2-game winning streak in the regular season, going into the playoffs, and they just continued to barrel through. I think that Tom Brady playing against the Chiefs the way he did, it spells good things for the New England Patriots moving forward into the Super Bowl. I think we've got a team that's going to keep it close. My prediction, I'm going to say, is Patriots by 4.
By 4. How do you get 4?
I'm going to say that they put up a late touchdown instead of tying it with a field goal. Belichick goes balls out and pushes down the field to get within field goal range. Tom Brady gets a last-minute throw for a touchdown.
Okay, very fair.
Giving the ball back to the Rams. Just kind of going for broke because, I mean, honestly, Brady doesn't have much time left in this game. Even though he's saying he's not retiring this year, he's not retiring next year.
Well, Robert Kraft himself said, hey, I see him as the quarterback of our team for years to come. So apparently, Tom Brady is not the only one that thinks he could do this. But anyways, let me circle back to that Gronkowski post that I read earlier. He said something this week in Radio Row that turned a lot of heads. And it was he was talking about the toll that this season had on him physically and mentally. Mm-hmm. And it seems like he's very concerned about his post-playing career and life after football. Granted, he's huge and he took big hits, but you could tell this season began to wear and tear on him. It would not surprise me, I think, to see that Rob Gronkowski retire after the Super Bowl, win, lose, or draw. I'm curious as to you being one of the resident Patriots fans that I know very closely. What's your feeling on Gronkowski? Do you think he's done?
I think he could be done. I know that the rumor around the Patriots campfire is that Rob Gronkowski is looking to follow in more of an acting path after the NFL. And if not acting, the other rumor was wrestling. And if you think of Rob Gronkowski's interactions with Mojo Rawley and everybody else around the WWE, it's not a far-fetched possibility to see him show up in some which way, shape, or form.
Well, no, he was already involved in a WrestleMania at one point.
Exactly. And so there is the opportunity, I think, to go more towards wrestling. But if you wanted to go non-contact sport, if you will, acting is up that alley for him. You know, it's something where I think it would be a lot of bro movies, but at the same point in time, it's Rob Gronkowski. We know him for 69 jokes. That's literally it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so,
kind of disappointed that he didn't work out that deal with whomever it was on the team to swap numbers and get 69. You know, I don't know if you heard about that rumor, but he was trying to do it, and it was hilarious. So, all right, go ahead.
I'm going to leave you with this one little fact from Rob Gronkowski. My favorite interaction of his media day stuff was with the Barstool Sports guys who had snuck into the NFL media day. And he said, I think it was PFT he was speaking to, and he said that, I want you guys to figure this math out for me. What's 6 times 9 plus 6 plus 9? And it took a second. But it is 69, and so it will continue. that was his response. He's like, I got one for you. And so if you can find the sound clip, it's out there. It's hysterical because the guy, he's a grown child. He is a grown child.
You got to love the guy, regardless of the, you know, regardless of what really won me over. I think with the Patriots, you know, accepted them and, you know, like, oh, I can't stand it. You know, the people that can't take their Homer hats off and appreciate it. But really was the season of trolling that after the Deflategate scandal.
Yeah.
Scandal. I hate to say even the term scandal or freaking deflated balls, but whatever. You know. And then he comes out, you know, you give an older quarterback 4 games off and they win 3 out of those 4. And then he comes in and he just tears the league up, wins MVP, wins the Super Bowl and that awkward trophy presentation. Yep. And the fact that Brady was, you know, trolling him indirectly, trolling Goodell indirectly, you know, for the weeks that followed, like, that was awesome. And that was like, okay, this guy's great. I can't, I'm sorry. I can't. But anyways, my prediction, Patriots win by a field goal. That said, let's transition over to what, all of the wrestling fans who are sitting here like, damn it, I don't want to talk about sports. I want to talk about wrestling. Damn it.
Talk about wrestling.
ESW finally makes its long-awaited debut here in the Rochester area, and they are to take a term you used earlier, going balls out. It is going to be February 23rd at Fairport, the Village Sports in Fairport, New York. I'm reading it off of the graphic here, so it's a little choppy for me. But you specifically are going to be involved in a triple threat match with Gavin Glass and somebody that, Eric, I'm going to have to, you know, borrow your expertise because outside of, you know, WWE, New Japan, and All Elite, you know, Ring of Honor, I know a few people, you know, both personally and you know, just following. I'm not quite familiar with this third person here. LSG. Tell me about LSG here. What do you know about him? And are you effectively doing your homework and scouting him?
Oh, of course, always. You always got to review tape. You always got to know who you're getting there after. But thankfully, LSG, Leon St. Giovanni, is somebody from Ring of Honor. He's the Human Rocket. He's the ace of space. He's one half of Team Spicy and Coast to Coast. He's all over the map with Ring of Honor in tag team wrestling. He's well accomplished in tag team wrestling. And I got to tell you, he likes to fly. And, you know, as a guy who used to like to fly, that gives me some advanced knowledge of,
now that's interesting to me because Gavin Glass is also a known flyer too, so that's an interesting dynamic there to that triple threat.
And for me, I'm a modified flyer. I used to fly all the time, but then I realized I like to hit people really hard a lot more than I like to miss flying.
Yes, so, that's how you were successfully able to finally beat me in 2017 after damn near 20 years of you trying.
Hey, man, all it takes is one time. All it takes is one time. But, you know, it's
It
one
was
of
the
those
one
shows
time that it sent me into my retirement, clearly. Yes, now I'm done. Now I haven't wrestled since. You were my last match, damn you.
Let's go. But, you know, for me, it's cool because it's my first time wrestling for ESW. It's something that I've wanted to do for the better half of my career. You know, when I left Buffalo Wrestling, I said if I ever came back to Buffalo or if I ever came back to Rochester after IWF closed, it would be one reason and one reason only. That's because Empire State Wrestling is showing up. And when when they brought the option for me to come in and wrestle for ESW to the table, I jumped on it with bells on, man. Like, I was like, give me anybody, like, put me in the ring with anybody. I don't care who it is. Like, I just want to work for you. I want to give you the best possible match. And honestly, my goal is to go out there and steal the show. That's always my goal everywhere I go, but even more so coming back to a place like Fairport, which I haven't been since Next Era Wrestling.
Yeah.
And and we're talking, that's almost 10 years ago. That I was in Fairport.
It was a while ago. It was a while ago that we were out there.
And then we look at you know, ESW's coming in, and they just have such a stacked card right now.
Yes, and I'm going to go through it. What I see here based on your post, there may be more or less, and if there's more, and I don't mention it, I apologize. But you got Rob Sweet against Cloudy. You have the Private Party against To Infinity and Beyond. There is, as I'm scrolling more, it's not Anthony Gaines and a partner of his choosing against the Butcher and the Blade, and
which
a special appearance.
Pepper Parks.
Yep. A special appearance by Rochester wrestling legend and next week's guest, Big Cat Lemmer, my man, Big Cat Lemmer.
Yeah.
And Ophidian. Did I say that right?
Yep. Ophidian the Cobra.
Versus your captain and mine, Nick Ando. So, and that's just that so far. Eric, give me your rundown now. I know that you are talking about, you know, you jumped on the opportunity to get this. What is going to be, you know, I don't want to say to condense it, but condense it. And don't give your entire strategy because I don't want to give anybody else a one-up. But what are you looking for? What are you looking to take advantage of with LSG and Gavin Glass and making your ESW debut a successful one?
Well, to sum it all up, I'm looking at it like this. Gavin Glass is somebody I've watched from his early training days until now. I know what he likes to throw. I know his style. I know where he's going to go, and I know he likes to throw combos. It's always combos. And I got to watch out for his cutter. His cutter is one of the most devastating things in his arsenal. Plus, he's got razor elbows. That kid will knock you down with an elbow. He doesn't look like he can throw it, but I'll tell you, I've seen him firsthand knock people for a loop. LSG, man, he's going to fly. He's going to be everywhere and anywhere, and when you think he's going to be somewhere, he's going to be somewhere else trying to jump on you. So my goal for him, keep them grounded. If I can keep them both grounded, I can fly a little bit, throw some people around, or as Terrell Kenneth would say, yeet some people around, then so be it. The goal is to go in there, and if I can steal a victory, I'll steal a victory. If I can get a clean victory, I'll get a clean victory. Either way, I want my first match with ESW, my debut for ESW in Fairport. I want it to be a victorious one, be it mentally, be it physically, be it emotionally victorious. I don't care. I'm going to go out, and I'm going to win some which way, shape, or form.
And I'm gonna be there, man. I'm gonna be there.
You're gonna be there.
I have to be there. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna have to see this. I'm gonna have to see the boys. I'm not going to be in front of the camera or anything like that. You know, that's y'all's game now. But
right.
But I got to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to see that. And a matter of fact, I may want to try and give away some tickets here in the coming weeks because I'm going to be placing a heavy focus on getting some of the ESW talent that I'm friends with, or even some that I don't know. If I could get put in touch with them and they want to do it, getting to know ESW, especially in the Rochester area, that's important, I think, to me, and I would like to see that happen. But Eric, a few minutes left. Drop social media links. Where can one find you?
All right. Well, you can find me on Instagram at ICM_Emanon. That's EMANON. I'm on Twitter at Eric Emanon. Pro Wrestling Tees, Eric Emanon. You can find me on Facebook, Facebook.com/Eric Emanon Pro Wrestling. I'm all over the internet. I like to talk wrestling. So if you like to talk wrestling, no pun intended, you like to talk wrestling, let's talk. Let's have fun. Tell me your favorite wrestlers. Tell me people you want to see me fight. Tell me people you want to see fight me. Just let's talk wrestling. Let's have fun. Let's make wrestling great again.
That's cool. Listen, do me a favor. Let's connect again, if not next week as well. Maybe in another week or two or whatever, because I want to get your post Super Bowl thoughts. And also too, are you going to be following the AAF like I am? Because it's my San Diego fleet, baby.
So I got to tell you, I haven't really checked in much on it, but I keep seeing the advertisements for it, and I'm really, really interested at the fact that we are going to have football all year round again.
Well, you know what? So, I think what interests me the most about this AAF thing, and I mentioned this on my podcast with Brandon, the FTW podcast, but it's unlike the UFL and any other the league, these random leagues that try to either compete or complement or whatever or catch on to the NFL. Like the AAF is different in the sense where it's not only just Charlie Ebersol, Dick Ebersol's son, that's the founder, but they've shelled out money to get big, known, successful NFL name executives like a Bill Polian, for example, to help run this league. And reading up that I heard that this league in particular was going to be, they're in talks with the NFL Network for the NFL Network to actually air some of their games. I mean, I'm thinking this could very well be the AAA farm system that the NFL desperately needs, and it would open up so many opportunities for other people, coaches, players, whatever, to get that playing time. So go on.
I think it's an opportunity too for kids straight out of college who are sophomores, juniors, and seniors who may not get drafted where they like in the NFL. They can turn down the draft, much like the Major League Baseball. They can turn down the draft and go back and play. But I think this gives the opportunity to go play on a bigger platform with either former NFL stars or current up-and-comers to get that experience, so we don't run into we drafted a quarterback, but he's going to have to sit behind X, Y, and Z for 3 to 5 years until he's good enough, or, we drafted this rookie quarterback, we're just going to throw him out there in the NFL and hope that he'll learn in preseason. This is the speed of the NFL. So I think just going off of what you explained, I think this is a great opportunity for the NFL, like you said, to build that farm system, to build that up and coming, so we can get kids who are maybe not in college football or, a second or third string in college football who want to move forward, maybe take a smaller contract, go into this league and say, hey, this is what I can do. This is, how much I'm willing to do it for. Let's play ball. And then, hey, the NFL draft comes around. I want that kid from that league. Boom, let's go. Let's get him out.
There you go. Well, indeed. It's going to be great. Again, everybody, February 23rd, Village Sports, Fairport, New York, at ESW Empire State of Mind. Eric Emanon, Gavin Glass, LSG, triple threat match. I'm going to be there. Y'all need to be there too to see this happening. Eric, my dude, it's not an ask, it's a requirement, and it's a definite. We got to get you on here again and talk some more sports, life, whatever. And maybe like we did a few years ago, have some pints and bring you into the studio. And
I'm sober, man. I'm sober. I'm almost sober for a full year now.
That's right. Congratulations.
Thank you. February 25th is my anniversary.
The pints could be for me.
I'll
give you pints of water.
I'm gonna drink.
I'll make sure you have pints of water. I will make sure you stick to that. But the pints will be for me. No, I won't drink in front of you. But
I'm gonna get chocolate wasted.
Okay. All right. You know what? We'll do. I'll make sure we got chocolate and all that stuff for you. But Eric, thanks again, man. Best of luck. Hey, side note, congratulations on your anniversary as well with the beautiful Mrs. Emanon. And
I'm going to be in Boston the morning of the Super Bowl.
Holy shit! That is going to be a riot.
So not only am I going to be in Boston the morning of the Super Bowl, but I'm going to Gillette Stadium the morning of the Super Bowl.
Nice. I expect to see a picture from there.
So,
all right, Eric,
it's happening. It's happening.
Eric, my man, thanks again.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it for this edition of the JC Money Show here on the Gear Radio Network. Thanks again to Eric Emanon for appearing. And remember, February 23rd at Village Sports in Fairport, New York. Empire State of Mind, ESW Wrestling, you can see him. And as well, next time I talk wrestling here on the JC Money Show, you can see Rochester wrestling legend and my homeboy, my brother from another mother, the Big Cat. Big Cat Lemmer is going to join me here. We're going to talk a little more about how, the SW show and his life after wrestling and what he's expecting upon his appearance at this show. And, of course, if you need tickets, ESWWrestling.com. You can go to their Facebook page, just type in Empire State Wrestling, and you can get tickets to that show as well. Thanks again to all of you for listening. I'm John Cimino, and thanks for supporting all of our sponsors and links on GearNetwork.com, BetterLiveThanDead.com, or on our episode description. That's fine, too. Again, WWE 2K19 you can get for $28, PS4, $28.15, Xbox One, and, yes, do order today for Sunday delivery. After halftime heat, play some Xbox, play some PS4, whatever. Just do it through Gear. Please, helps us out. Till then, so long, everybody. Good night now. Flavor Flav, see us out. Yeah, boy!
Check out Guitar George. He knows all the chords.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.